Hey, what's up guys, Eclipse Graphics here, and this video is to conclude all clan related questions and this entire story as it began back in Black Ops 3 and all the way till this point. So we have final information and concluding answers. There are some minor gaps in this all, but me and Dane have reached a point where we simply can't get any more answers. So we're going to go through the rest of the information and make a general conclusion what's going on. One thing I want to go over is some reviews that were made by people that used to work at the studio. So this first review shown on the screen is short-term mobile phone app testing, former contractor, mobile QA tester, contract in Santa Monica, worked at Beachhead Studio as a contractor less than a year. Pros: management was friendly and actually felt bad when asking us to do overtime. Cons: long commutes, temporary employment, uncomfortable chairs. And when it was written was March 27th, 2014. Second review says, great people to work with, cliquey upper management, former employee, anonymous employee in Santa Monica, doesn't recommend, negative outlook. I worked at Beachhead Studio more than a year. Pros: the people are worth it, being part of Activision was nice, good perks when the studio did well. The upper management was very cliquey. If you were not part of the boys club or were not favored by someone that was, you were never fully liked. It did not help that our studio head was always on vacation while we all crunched. Advice to management: maybe break up the boys club and like everyone. And when it was written was February 24th, 2014. Third review says, abusive, disorganized, clinkish, former employee, developer in Santa Monica, doesn't recommend, negative outlook. I worked at Beachhead Studio full time, more than 3 years. Pros: if you love Call of Duty, you'll be able to immerse yourself in the Call of Duty universe. Sort of. Cons: shattered work/life balance. 3 to 4 months out of the year, they have mandatory 12-hour days during crunch time, parallel to a new game launch. The rest of the year you were expected to work longer than 8 hours. Those who don't are frowned upon and seen as not being team players. Advice to management: respect everyone in the company equally, not just your drinking buddies. And when it was written was September 4th, 2013. And what you should take back from these reviews is that the studio had problems. There was a group in the studio that isolated itself from the rest of the studio, it seems like. And we could say that since 2 of the reviews listed complained about that. I'm sure the group spoke about all sorts of issues and Activision favored them more than the rest of the team. Who knows? This is a prediction about what could have possibly happened. The studio most likely had a contract, and that contract probably expired, and Activision told them that their services will no longer be needed. And the reason why is because Call of Duty esports was becoming the main focus. There are many predictions of what may have happened, but this one we just mentioned may be a very possible reason. Now, you will be shocked of who this person is. So this screenshot that was blurred out, this message is from johnwastaken. Yes, from John Linden. This man was the head of Beachhead Studio. He left Activision back in June. You're probably wondering where he went. He went to Seismic Games. He is also the president of Seismic Games too. Not convinced that this is a real developer? That's okay, since there's a video on YouTube back in the Call of Duty Ghost days when he was answering questions that Tino was asking him about clans. And who did we also see on that screenshot that I showed before? Trey, from Beachhead Studio. This is the same Trey that we know on Twitter, and that is Trey Beachhead. And another confirmation we get is from the first developer that we mentioned back in video 1. And he basically said that the remaining people of the studio all went to Seismic Games. So basically, Seismic Games is Beachhead Studio 2.0, but they aren't associated with Activision anymore. And you're probably thinking at this point that we have no hope left, since as we can see Activision's main focus is esports. But we can possibly make this happen. Let me explain. The hashtag clans matter thing that us the clan community was trying to build and advertise, it probably did have some effect as it went on for a while. Imagine this in your head. Us, the clan community, are on one side of this wall. On the other side of this wall is Activision, InfinityWard, Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games. And this wall is impossible to breach, but the message that we were advertising, the hashtag clans matter, was making a small tiny crack through this wall. And once the crack made it all the way through this wall, we made a hole, and that hole gave us the ability to get the message through, and Vandahar probably did notice it, and maybe other people that we don't know also noticed it, and it may have motivated Vandahar and other developers to get Call of Duty groups implemented at least. But that's Vandahar. He reaches out to the entire community. He doesn't ignore people. My point is, if we don't all try together as a team to get a message across efficiently, then we're never going to see any clan features get implemented into a Call of Duty game ever again. All we're going to see is a Call of Duty groups feature get implemented every single year, and we all know that's not what we want. want. If every single individual member from every single clan tweeted out the same picture to the same developers over and over again, it would give the developers the urge to address it and maybe motivate the Call of Duty developers to get the clan features in the game. Cause imagine being a developer and seeing the same tweet 200 to 300 times roughly at the same time. But there's one thing we would be missing at all times, and that's a catapult. The catapult would be big YouTubers and Twitch streamers. We can't continue to make tiny holes through this wall since it's not effective enough. We need to knock the wall down to make sure we can get the message advertised well enough, and that will increase the chances of clan stuff returning. But at this current state, we probably won't get anything like Clan Wars, Clan Raids, or a Call of Duty app anytime soon, since it is up to Activision if they want to bring the features back and the studio back as well. So don't expect anything clan related to come in the future for Call of Duty, except for Call of Duty groups, and that's it. We will never get an answer why Beachhead Studio disbanded, as that is obviously classified. If anyone adds to this story or finds more information, please let me know. That would be highly appreciated. If you watched part 1 and this video entirely, me and Dane highly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and also rest in peace, Project Beachhead.